Hey guys, so this is the new Speedo. It's got an analog tach and a digital readout. Got it hooked up to the Honda Ruckus. Left all the wires exposed so that you guys can see how it's all kind of hooked up. But anyway, this is what it looks like when you flip the ignition on. The tach is very responsive. You can see the Speedo. There's a button on underneath the speedometer right there. That's how you get into your settings. If you just click the button, you can toggle through from the odometer to the trip meter. If you go back to the odometer screen and you hold the button down, you can switch between miles per hour and kilometers per hour. Alright, to get into the settings menu of this thing, you gotta hold down here. You gotta hold down that little button and turn the ignition on and keep holding the button until it goes into the settings menu. There we go. So the setting number 1 is your tire circumference. And it'll automatically keep going to the next number if you let it. If you push the button, you can change it. If you want it to go to the next one, you just hold the button down. And then you go to the next menu, number 2. This is how many magnets are on the wheel. You can change that. I have 3, so leave it on 3. Hold it down for the next menu. So the third setting menu is 2-cylinder or 4-cylinder. If you leave it on 2, it'll work just fine for the 1-cylinder. As this bike is it's just a 1-cylinder. A little 49cc. So I confirm that the tach's working just fine. So leave that on 2. So the 4th setting menu is your fuel sensor. There's 2 or 3. There's only really 2 options. I don't know what number 3 does because number 2 seems to be working just fine for mine, so leaving it there. So settings number 5 is something to do with the odometer, and I think this is where you can reset the odometer. Mine's at 0, so no need to reset it. I haven't put any miles on it yet, but I'm assuming if you ever want to reset your odometer, then this is the menu to do it in. And that's it. Those are the only things you have to set on this thing. And it takes you back to the main menu. So the Speedo has a 6-gear indicator and a neutral. So you basically just need to give it a ground. So I'm gonna just pin each one for you guys and ground it, and just to show you. So your neutral is a nice green indicator. pink wire is your, gear 1. Blue red, gear 2. Green black, gear 3. Yellow red, gear 4. And then the yellow white, gear 5. And then there's a green blue, and that's your final gear 6. So those are your gears, and that's just in this 6-pin connector here. The 6th gear, for whatever reason, is just an extra pin, an extra wire that's not in a connector. Right, so you got your signals. And then your high beam. You switch to light. That's your high beam. And the last function on this speedo is it's got a headlight indicator, which you just looks for a power. So just show you guys that. That's your lights on, daytime running lights, whatever you want to call it. So that's a power input, just like your high beam indicator. So just want to go over the main head unit power, or sorry, the wiring. So basically this is how you'd wire it in. The red wire in this connector is your battery positive, so I got it going to put it on a fuse here, straight to the battery. The one in the middle, the black, is your key switched, so I had to find a 12-volt switched power. And then the green one is ground. So the yellow-black wire is your Tach signal. I have that wired in. I ran the wire all the way down into the ignition coil there. Not the green, but the power, the black and yellow power terminal. That's your pickup. And the only other wires are your lights, so you got your high beam, which is your straight blue wire. And then you got your orange and light blue. So the light blue over there is your right turn signal, the orange is your left. And then you have your fuel gauge. Fuel gauge is the one on the corner there, the blue-white. And I just ran this wire into the factory connector. It's the float. So I can show you guys the fuel gauge. And once I see, so right now it's full. If I put it to empty, it'll start going down slowly. Once it gets to the last bar, it's going to flash. And there's your empty. This is how the speedo is hooked up. See the colors? And they go in like this. So the red to the red, it's actually a red-white. The yellow goes to the one in the middle, which is a black-white. And the black goes to the green. And then on the other end, that's how we mount the magnets. Put the magnets in the rotor bolts. And the bracket that comes with the speed sensor. Just picks up the, I'm using 3 magnets on this one. And that's pretty much it for this speedometer.